Here we go. Yeah, blind.
Tank.
No more blind than this.
Full disclaimer. Have we talked about what we are talking about today?
No, not at all.
Do you know what this episode is about?
I have no idea.
Perfect. So I have an idea. We have brought on what? I don't even know how many guests.
Oh my God. A lot. Yeah.
A handful, right?
But I don't know about that. More than a handful.
We have brought on more guests than we have people that watch us. Let's put it that way. So that's nice. That means people are suckered into this shit every week. And we were supposed to have a guest this past weekend, but it fell through. Shit happens. He'll be on later.
Yep.
It is what it is, you know. But there is one person that has never talked about themselves, and that's me. So this podcast is going to be my views and my story.
Do you want me to just sit back and like grunt and groan or whatever? You know.
Well, here's what I want you to do. I'm going to start talking. If you have a question, ask it. If you want me to elaborate, I will do so. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, sure.
So I will also add that all of these views and all of these opinions are my own. They have nothing to do with the club. They have nothing to do with any other club or any other people. This is all me and what goes on in my head. Number one, I will address why I sound like shit.
All right. Why do you sound like shit, bro?
Well, because I have a condition called GERD, where stomach acid comes up my esophagus and fucks up my vocal cords.
Yeah, influx. Go ahead.
That. I have that. And in order to cure that, or to make it so I don't sound like, you know, this, I need pills, special pills that a doctor has to give you. And I haven't had insurance in quite some time, so I haven't been able to get my pills. Therefore, I sound like this.
You're girding.
I'm girding up. It's a girdy type situation.
Gurdy man.
Hey, what are you gonna do? Life's a bitch. You move forward.
You live to tell a story. That's right.
That's right. So I will start by addressing the fact is, well, how did I get into motorcycles? And it's quite simple. I am a speed freak. I enjoy going very fast. And I grew up. So I'm originally from Chicago. And I don't mean from a suburb. I'm from Rogers Park, Illinois.
The city.
Chicago. So Chicago's broken up into different areas. You got Humboldt Park, you got Highland, or not Highland Park, that's a fucking suburb. You got
Wrigleyville.
You got Lincoln Park, you got all these different areas, these different districts. I'm from Rogers Park. Google it. I don't know what to tell you. You know, I lived on Arthur Avenue, right off of Clark Street. It is what it is. And back in the 90s, 80s and 90s, because I'm old. So if we got any younger viewers out there, this is not the first time Chicago's been violent. You can Google crime stats of the 80s and 90s in Chicago and see how similar they are. In fact, it's actually worse because believe it or not, even though the shooting and all the killing that's going on in Chicago seems really bad, hey, it used to be a lot worse. Trust me, I was there. Anyways, I digress. My family didn't drive. My mom and dad didn't have a car, ever. And when my parents got divorced, I got moved up here to Wisconsin, where you almost had to have a car just to get around because everything spread the fuck out, right? So when I got to the age where I could have an automobile, I got a car. Motorcycles were always cool to me. I always thought they were cool. My dad was a wannabe biker. He never had a bike, but he always had all the bullshit. So he was a straight up fucking wannabe. But long story short, cars and motorcycles, I've always been into them. But cars are more easily obtainable than motorcycles. Now, I said that to say this. I like going fast. And let's be honest, Harleys are not the fastest bikes on planet Earth.
Well, yours is.
That
Pretty,
one.
yours is pretty fast. That one there, yeah.
It's not slow.
No.
But I'll say this. Any 600cc fucking crotch rocket that was made in the past 10 years will fuck that thing up over 100 miles an hour. It just is what it is.
Yeah, yeah. Nature of the beast, man.
Hey, man, technology's a beautiful thing,
Yep.
you know? Anyways, so my pathway into motorcycles was a simple, you can go fast for cheap. So you could take a Honda CB 750, for example, my first motorcycle, a 78 Honda CB 750. And you can have a bike that can say go, if you're a good rider, in the high 12s, low 13s in the quarter mile. In order to do that with a car back in the late 90s, you better have some serious coin. And I grew up a poor kid. And nowadays, see, a lot of people, they look at it, well, how come you didn't have a Harley? Why'd you get into Jap bikes? Well, it's quite simple. Take the price of, say, the cheapest big bike you can find, the biggest twin you can find that for the cheapest price that actually runs and rides. You're looking at about $3,000 to $3,500, depending upon where you live, right?
Yeah.
That would be about as good as you're going to get. If you can get a running and riding big twin Harley for $3,000 to $3,500, that's a pretty good fucking deal.
You'd be hard pressed to find one that didn't have some issues.
Back in the late 90s, you were not even going to find a Sportster. And I mean a fucking Ironhead Sportster.
Oh yeah, man. It was back in the days when they had waiting lists.
You had to wait. It was,
yeah.
Shovelheads went for $6,000 and nobody wanted them.
Yeah, and they leaked all over the place.
Nobody wanted a goddamn shovelhead. Right? I'm talking AMF era fucking shovelheads.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted them. But you were not going to find one for less than $5,000. And when you're making fucking $9-10 an hour working for some bullshit shop, you're not going to fucking be able to afford $5-6,000. Ain't no bank going to give you a loan for it. So you're going to be like, why the fuck would we give you a loan for a fucking motorcycle? You punk kid, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Oh, and Harley didn't exactly finance motherfuckers that didn't have credit. Like today, anybody can go to Harley and get a Harley. Now, you might be paying 25% fucking interest, and it's going to be the worst financial decision you've ever fucking made.
Oh, without a doubt.
Right. But back in like the late 90s, early 2000s, that was not a thing.
Mm.
You were not doing that.
No.
Harley looked at you and were like, oh, you don't have Doctor or Esquire after your last name? Yeah, we're not even going to give you a fucking loan, homeboy.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck out of here. For a used bike.
Oh, hell, I mean, some of them dealerships, like club guys would have to send their old ladies in to get parts because they wouldn't even sell parts to guys with patches.
Yeah. You couldn't even walk into a fucking dealership.
Yeah.
Patch on your back.
Yeah.
Granted, things have changed.
Thankfully.
And you know what? I hate to say it, but you know what I think the biggest fucking thing to happen for, dealerships letting clubs come in and actually buy parts and be part of their bike nights or whatever?
What's that?
Sons of Anarchy.
Well, yeah.
Sons of Anarchy did a great thing for the Harley Davidson community by making Harley Davidson's pop culture or
relevant
back in the mainstream. Because if you remember, like, Harleys were badass in the 90s, and then they kind of had a drop off because, let's be honest, they kind of suck. Like, I'm sorry, there is a big difference between an 08 fucking Harley and an 09 Harley.
Oh, yeah.
When it comes to big bikes, when it comes to the cruisers and the fucking, the FLHs,
Mm-hmm.
big fucking difference. And, I mean, they had a reputation of being not a great bike, and you're paying, year 2010 prices for 1987 technology, because I mean, from what was 87 to like 07 or 08 rather, a big twin, a big, bagger bike was the exact same fucking motorcycle, except for, we went from the Evo, which was badass, to the twin cam that had a bunch of problems with fucking chain tensioners and all this other bullshit.
Plastic parts, yeah.
Yeah. we came out with a fuel injection system that worked like garbage, and we had to go back to carburetors for a little while. So we figured out, oh well, maybe we should, get a hold of somebody who actually knows fuel injection.
Yeah, they didn't. They stopped using carbs in their bikes in 2006 was the last production year.
Well, for
Maybe
big,
for big sporties you could still sporties you could still buy.
40s and Dynas, I think was 07 or 8.
Yeah.
Either way, so my introduction into motorcycles was Japanese.
Yeah, metric, like a lot of it's mine too.
Yeah. Hondas, Cowies, Yamahas, you name it. I had it. And I was into cars.
Me
I was
too.
into drag racing. Didn't have a V8. I didn't give a fuck about it. I've never been in imports. I don't, whatever. It's just not my thing. I don't like it. I like V8s.
I had an old Audi at one point in time.
Hey, more power to you.
It was broke all the time.
Well, I always say this. First of all, can we act professional and put our phones on silent, please?
I didn't even hear that. You're giving me shit. Wow, 1,400 miles away. I'm getting shit.
Yeah, what are we? 100 and
yeah.
What is this episode 123?
123. Yeah.
We can't put our phone on silent.
I've heard it. Okay, go on. Yeah.
Yeah, the spare bathroom must be getting really busy these days. Anyways,
Jesus Christ.
Anyway, so my point is this: when I got into bikes, did I want a Harley? Yeah, because I saw movies like Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man, or what's that fucking Charlie Sheen movie where he's an undercover cop and he has to infiltrate a biker.
Right. I can't remember
that one. I think it's like not above the law or broken law, whatever the fuck it is. Stone Cold with my man Boz.
Oh yeah, well,
classics like that. Yeah, I wanted a Harley. In fact, I wanted a chopper because we all wanted choppers, especially in the early 2000s when Discovery Channel was basically the chopper channel.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
But I didn't have $20,000 to buy a fucking chopper kit. Remember the chopper kits in the early 2000s?
Yep.
Where you could order a chopper in a box?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't have that.
Yep.
So
Sucker Punch Sally.
Oh, well, you had Sucker Punch Sally, Fly Right, Big Bear, a ton of them.
You'd buy a rolling chassis and then throw all the rest of the parts on yourself. Came in a crate.
Yeah, it come with like a Rev Tech 100 or an SNS 99 or whatever bullshit package you bought.
Yeah,
and it was like basically everything, but like you'd have to source brakes and electronics and gauges and whatever, right? And a lot of people bought them and they put them together, and now those bikes are worth like $3,000 because nobody wants cocksuckers because you can't, you know what I mean? They're junk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it was junk. But hey, whatever. That was back in the day problems. That's 20 years ago problems.
All right. So Speed Freak, metric. You're on your what was you had your CB 750.
CB 750. Then I got into rockets. I got an FCR. I got a Honda Super Hawk. And if you're listening,
nice bikes.
That would be Honda Firestorm.
You have the Super Hawk 550?
No. Super Hawk 996.
Ooh, that was a big bike.
Yeah, they didn't. No, Super Hawks it was the predecessor to the RC50.
Oh, I'm thinking of the Nighthawk 550.
Yeah. You're thinking of Nighthawks, right?
Yeah. Nice. Were good bikes. They were badass. Oh, hell yeah.
On Interceptor, the KZ. The KZ series, like KZ 1000. I mean, that you want to talk about a bike. If you were in high school and you had that was boy band ass. You were getting boy band ass with that fucking motorcycle. They were so quick.
Oh yeah, I had that old Yamaha XS 850 Special inline triple. That thing was quick as hell.
Yeah, I mean, so this whole thing where I see guys in their fucking 50s and 60s bad mouthing anybody that's ever on a metric bike, it's like, you know what? If you were back in the day riding around on a Harley in your fucking 20s or 30s in the early 2000s, chances are you were a goddamn yuppie. Or you had some fucking basket case, or you did things that
Yes.
allowed you to get a bunch of money
Right. Yeah.
with having,
Right.
you know what I mean?
You had extracurricular activity
Well, you did things.
that was less than lawful.
Is what it is.
Yeah.
And that's why if you ever watch like an old biker documentary, a lot of the dudes like say, you know, they have like, oh, this is this club back in the 80s and whatever. Their bikes were not baggers and tricked out and shit.
No.
They were either a chopper because, you know, they built the shit out of it and they
Yeah.
did it themselves, or B, some ratty ass FXR or some beat the shit fucking whatever.
A pretty sketchy panhead.
Yeah, you pieced your bike together.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the whole thing where guys in clubs or guys who are considered bikers, air quotes, worked on their own shit
Mm-hmm.
because you had to, because your bike sucked,
Yeah.
because it was falling apart all the time, because you pounded pavement and shit breaks and you got to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
And who can afford to take their shit to a shop?
Still,
So it
yeah.
is. So my whole thing, when I tell people that I come from the metric world or the, you know, the crotch rocket world, whatever, is because back when I was coming up, that's what was available to a guy in my means. I talk to guys now in their 20s now, and they're like, "Oh, my first bike was a Sportster." Oh yeah, how much you pay for it? $2,500. I'm like, and I wish back in the day I could have had one for $25 or $2,500. I couldn't. It didn't exist.
Mm.
You know, I remember a guy paid $5,000 for an Ironhead Sporty, and people were like, "Wow, what a great deal, man! Holy shit!"
Yeah.
Now he can buy an Ironhead for $1,500, and he could probably ride it home.
And it probably has 2,000 miles on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's another thing. I mean, you know, nowadays you can buy all these guys who went out and bought bikes and never rode them. You know how many times I see bikes for sale that are like 5-6 years old that don't even have like 5,000 miles on them?
They have the original tires on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like yeah. Oh, it's got 6,000 miles. It's 2015. I'm like, how is that even possible?
Yeah, I know.
How do you do that? But I digress.
Well, yeah, people buy bikes for different things. You're a speed demon. I like going fast. I don't like to go your fast.
I like going fast, and maybe I'm an adrenaline junkie. I don't know, but there's very few things that get my rocks off, and that's one of them. So I said that to say this. How did I get involved in the club world? Well, it's quite simple, really. I had a guy who I used to work for. He was a manager. He was the boss where I worked. And me and him became friends because we were both gearheads. He was into choppers. I was into bikes, kinda. And I was also drag racing. I also had a car. So we would always just talk about going fast and doing all this shit. And he joined the club. So I was working for him. I got laid off, got another job, ran into him one day, and here he is probating for a motorcycle club. And I was kind of like, oh shit, dude, look at you probating for a motorcycle club. You must be some kind of Billy Badass. Because by the way, I thought clubs were stupid back in the day because I didn't know shit about them. I'd never been around motorcycle clubs. I didn't come up in the motorcycle club world. My dad wasn't in a motorcycle club. My uncle.
You were that guy.
I was that guy.
Yeah, me too, man.
I didn't give a shit about clubs. I don't give a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all I knew about motorcycle clubs is what I seen on TV, and it didn't seem like it was all that much fun. It looked like it was fun, but it was mostly just a bunch of bullshit. That's what I thought, you know. And who's going to tell me any different? Because you also have to remember, this is pre-podcast. This is pre-YouTube, and everybody's talking about the shit and yada yada yada. Black Dragon, I don't even think had a chance.
Nope.
You know what I mean?
Probably not.
Probably not. But, and you know, I got to know the guys, and you start hanging around. Got pulled over. The club at the time, the vice president at the time, was the only one that stuck around, made sure nobody fucked with me, yada, yada, yada. Took me under his wing, and here we are, right? So that's my introduction into the club world.
Yeah, you were on a Suzuki GS 750.
That's right.
Yeah.
Cafe racer bike I built myself.
That you
The only
rebuilt.
reason the only reason I got pulled over is because when that cop decided to pull somebody over in a pack of about 100 plus motorcycles, he picked out the one red Japanese bike that sounded like an angry herd of or an angry fucking swarm of hornets. It was me. What's up? You know? So, said that to say this. I now want to talk about certain club things that happen in the world that people don't quite understand, and I'm going to shed some light on. And I also feel that other channels and podcasts don't ever talk about them. They should. So, number one, what is a prospect and what is a probate? Because a lot of people get those two mixed up. They like to say, well, he's a prospect. Well, no, he's a probate. Well, what's the difference? I'll tell you what the difference is. First of all, any real club worth their salt is going to start a guy out as a hang around. So let us discuss what a hang around is. 9 times out of 10, a hang around is a person that has shown interest in becoming a member.
Mm-hmm.
And the club typically takes a vote and says, yes, I trust him enough to be a hang around. Well, what is a hang around? A hang around is basically just a friend to the club. You get to come to parties. We're all friendly with you.
Yeah, joke with the guys. Yeah.
Joke with the guys, yada, yada, yada. Sometimes you get a little bit more privilege than the rest of the fucking public that's around us.
It's a pretty good place to be sometimes. You think about it. Yeah.
I'll call you. Let's go riding. That's
yeah. Yeah.
We're having a private affair where it's going to be just us club members and the old ladies and family. Why don't you come on down?
It's about as close as you're going to see inside the world without actually starting the rest of the process.
Right. And I say that to say this. Unless a club tells you you're a hang around,
you are not
a fucking hang around.
That's right.
I don't give a fuck if you've been to 100 fucking parties and you bought all the support fucking shit and you done, you got your fucking profile picture as a support logo for X club. Unless they say you are a hang around, you are not a hang around.
You're just a friend of the club.
You're not even that. You're just a supporter.
Yeah.
To say you're a friend, well, anybody can call themselves a friend.
Oh, you're a citizen,
right?
Yeah.
You're a nobody.
Yeah,
and that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's going to be great, good for you. And I got no problem with somebody who just wants to be a supporter. Hey, good. Hey, we need them. The support pays for the lights to be on. You know what I mean?
I do.
So you're going to be a hang around first. And any club that's worth its salt. If you don't have a hang around process in your club, then I don't know what the fuck you're doing. And good luck to you. But you're going to be a hang around. Now, some clubs have prospects that become probates, then become full patch. I'll explain that process. What is a prospect? A prospect is a prospective member, meaning they are considering you to become a member. So you are now a prospect, and there will be certain things you have to do as a prospect, like sweep and clean the clubhouse, or I don't know, help a brother out with fixing a tire, whatever the fuck it may be. Stock a bar, bartend, work security, who knows? Whatever the fuck that club tells you to do, you better fucking do.
It's when you start showing your worth.
Exactly. Who are you as a man? Who are you as a member? If we were going to make you a member tomorrow, what do you bring to the table? And if you bring nothing to the table, then why the fuck do we want you in the club?
Yeah, because any club worth their grain of salt realizes that you've got to get recognized.
Right. Now, you might say to yourself, well, it sounds like a probationary member. Yes and no.
Not yet.
Some clubs have a prospect, and then you go to probate or probationary member. What does that mean? That means that you have spent enough time as a prospect to prove yourself, where you are now a probationary member. You're not exactly full patch, but you're not exactly a prospect either. These clubs have this. Now, typically in this situation, a probate's going to have more freedoms than a prospect. And you'll hear this. You'll be at a certain club, and this is the way they run it, and they'll yell for a prospect. Well, they did not ask for a probate. They asked it for a prospect. There's a difference fucking duty.
Mhm.
Sometimes they ask for a probate. That's a different duty. That means they trust you more. That means you have one rung up. Now, our particular club does not have prospects. We have probates, probationary members. What does that mean? It means pretty much the same thing as being a prospect, but we see you more as a member than we do a prospect, meaning I consider you part of my club. Meaning, if we're out and about and somebody wants to fuck with you, it's like fucking with a regular member. It's like fucking with one of my brothers.
Yeah.
Because you are different than the rest of fucking society to me.
Well, because it's a probationary member. You're not a prospect member. You're a probationary member. It's the
Exactly.
first time you get called a member. You know, it has member in the phrase, you know?
Exactly. You are a probationary member. It's not, well, he might be someday. No. You are one right now.
Yeah, we're trying you out.
Good luck. You are now, granted, you don't get a vote. You aren't privy to meetings. You better work your ass off. You better do what you're fucking told. But to the rest of the fucking world, you're a member of the BIC. Meaning that if somebody fucks with you and doesn't show you respect, I have your back 100%. And I expect you to have mine. You know what I mean?
I do.
There's your difference.
Yeah.
So if you're ever out and about and you see somebody who's called a probate or a prospect, just treat them with the utmost respect like you would an actual fucking member, because you never fucking know what level they're on.
Yeah, and they're not your prospect.
And they're not your probate.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you were with this when we were probating, and we're out doing some poker run, and we're over at Four Corners. And so, of course, probate, I'm grabbing everybody's poker sheet, and getting the stamps and stuff on it. And somebody who was just out riding around with us hands my, hey, calls me back. Hey, man, here, take mine too. And I was like, I'm not your probate. And I think it was Squirrel and Pearly at that point in time, both stood up and they're like, yeah, motherfucker, like he's our probate.
Yeah.
And then they had me do some nasty thing, but I got everybody's stamps. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people that seems to be a problem area for some people.
Yeah. A lot of people. Oh, and by the way, if you're a friend of the club or you're not a hang around, you're a supporter or whatever, do not act like you can boss around a probate. I will shut you down so goddamn fast. No. You're not part of us. You can support us. We'll be friendly with you. You can drink our beer. You can listen to our music. You can enjoy our parties. Great. But do not treat our probates like they're your probates, because they are not.
Yeah, you see that. It's a common thing you see out there.
And you know who's the biggest fucking violator of that?
Former club members.
And women.
Oh. Yeah.
Ladies, if you are listening to the sound of my voice, know this. In our club, women do not have a say. It is a men's only club. Men can only join. With that being said, we all love and respect our women. We want them to have the best possible time they can have. However, that probate behind the bar has more say than any old lady attached to any member, myself included. Fucking president has more say than any other old lady in the club, bar none. If he tells you to shut the fuck up, then you probably should shut the fuck up.
It's a good idea. Yeah.
Because chances are, I'll tell you to shut the fuck up. It just is what it is. Sorry.
Yeah, we had that happen to us a couple of times. One person in particular tried to bark orders out at us. Remember that they wanted us to sit in some Mini Cooper, and they wanted us to sit down in there, so it looked like we were getting into a clown car or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were both like just kind of looking at him, going, no.
And that's just it, you know. And I said that to say this. So I came up through the ranks. You know that. You were there. Me and Tank probated together. If you haven't noticed or haven't known, if you're new to the show, and
Yeah.
you know, you're on episode fucking 100 and you didn't hear us talk about, yeah, me and Tank came through Club World together.
Yeah.
Okay. And
A shared experience.
a shared experience. That's right. And here we are. Tank is a secretary to the motorcycle club that we are in. What are the secretary? They're the note keepers. They're the ones that are secretaries, keep the club honest.
Keep us on track.
Keep us on track, keep us honest, make sure that we're following our fucking rules, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
If we have to, you know, communicate with another club, it's either going to come through me as the president or Tank, the secretary.
Yeah, I'm like a point of contact, and the point of contact in the club.
Mm-hmm. If there is a question on what the rules are, I go to Tank. Tank, tell me what the bylaw, even though I might know it.
Mm-hmm.
Tank's the record keeper. Have we made a rule? What changes did we make? Can you refresh my memory? That's secretary. What's on the agenda?
Yeah.
What do we have to do? Because I can't remember every goddamn thing.
Yeah. Well, yeah. What's the law in the town on doing this?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, my first position in the club after being fully patched was bar manager.
Mine too.
Yours too. Well, you know, we're not talking about you. So.
Oh, sorry. Well, yeah,
No, it's fine. Go ahead. No, tell us about your bar manager experience. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I would just.
That's fine. Go ahead.
Would
No,
you, Jesus.
fucking with you. Fucking with you. Calm down. So I was bar manager. I would have to say that if you're joining a motorcycle club, being a bar manager or house manager, however your particular club works, it's the best entry level position you can get into. Because I don't know if people are aware of this, but if you have a clubhouse, your bar is your lifeblood. It could make or break the house. I mean, we don't get into this shit because we're fucking, you know, churchgoers. You know what I mean? It's not like, look, there's sober clubs out there, and I don't even know how the fuck they maintain. I really have.
We subsist on donations.
Right. My point is this. You will learn what every dude likes, what has to be. You're basically running a business. And you're doing it under club rules, which means you have to, if an old lady comes to you and say, hey, I tried this particular brand of seltzer and I really, really like it. Can you guys get it? Well, you might be able to get it and she might get sick of it. And now you got 2 cases of this brand of seltzer that nobody fucking wants.
Mm-hmm.
And you now have to answer to the fucking boss. Why the fuck you've got over fucking $50 of fucking inventory sitting in a cooler that ain't nobody fucking drinking? You know what to fucking do with.
6 cases of Bud Talls that were only a dead member would drink, and then we held on to it for a while. Yeah.
Yeah. Shit like that. You're basically running a business inside a club of a bunch of fucking drunks who expect you to know what they want before they even tell you. Good luck.
Oh, they have seats
Like,
they like to sit in too. Yeah.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. How come you ran out of this? Well, I don't know, because you motherfuckers drank it all and you didn't fucking tell me that you ran out. Why don't we have enough change in the till? Well, I don't know, because you motherfuckers fucking didn't tell me that you fucking all decided to go to the ATM and get fucking 20s and fucking sit down here all goddamn night. And now I don't got any fucking change.
Yeah, you hand me a 20, you drink 2 beers, and
It's
Yeah.
shit like that. So
yeah.
it's really good to be a bar manager if you want a responsibility or a task. I personally recommend anybody who joins a club, don't do shit for at least a year. Just be a regular member.
I should have taken your advice.
Yeah, no shit. But just be a regular goddamn member. Don't try to be an officer. Don't have a job,
Hmm.
because you now have to get used to being a member. You were a probate, a prospect, whatever. Now you're a member. Now relax. Take a second. Learn how to be a member, because being a member is hard.
Hmm.
Is it as hard as being a prospect or a probate? Kinda, because
Sometimes
now,
harder.
Exactly. Sometimes harder, sometimes easier, sometimes whatever. Because as a member, well, now everything you say has more gravity to it. For example, if a probate or a prospect mouths off to another fucking club outside of your club, well, that looks bad on you, but not as bad if it's a full patch member mouthing off to another full patch member of another motorcycle club. Because the way that the other club's going to look at it is, they have already vetted this guy. They've patched him in. He is a full-blown brother. So his opinions and his actions now reflect on the entire goddamn club. Because every club understands that a prospect and or a probate is going to do something stupid. So there's always that little bit of like, well, I get it. Everybody gets that one jackass fucking probate or jackass fucking prospect. It's going to do something fucking stupid. Yeah, it still looks bad on your club. Yeah, you're still going to have to answer to it. But there is that little bit of, hey, man, you know what? I get it. You know, he's an idiot. We let him go. Fuck him. He's a piece of shit. I can do that. But if it's a full patch brother that's now mouthing off to another club, I probably won't even fucking say he's an idiot. I'll probably be like, well, what'd you do to piss him off? Maybe you deserved it. Maybe he was right. Maybe you're wrong. Maybe go fuck yourself. Because he's a full patch brother. You know what I mean?
I do.
So you have to learn to become a member. So I would sit back for a year. Just sit back. You know, the F stands for forever.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
That's
so
a
if you're in,
long
say,
time.
the Brothers in Chains, it says BFFB. Brothers forever, forever brothers. You have for forever. Take your time. You have time. Okay? Sit back for a year.
That doesn't mean
Also-
don't do anything, though.
No, doesn't mean don't do shit. It means
Yeah.
don't try to become in charge of shit.
Right.
Big misconception. You do not know shit about shit. Do not think that your ideas are going to be somehow a savior to the club, because I guarantee you they will not be. Because whatever idea you think you have, we've already had it. We've already tried it and it didn't work. That's why we do what we do now.
Yep.
So I said that to say this. I was a bar manager. And things happened during the course of years where the club needed a treasurer, because the treasurer at the time was not doing the best job that a treasurer should do. So,
Try to contain myself, man.
yeah, I know. So the president or boss, however you want to describe him, came to me and said, hey, Dirty, I need you to do me a favor. I said, what you got? He goes, you know, been doing a great job with the bar. Bar's running flawless. I need you to try to become the treasurer. And I need you to do what you did for the bar for the club. Now it's like, I don't want to. And he's like, oh, no. Club needs you. I says, really? Yeah. Fine. I become the treasurer. I did so through the process of how we pick officers. Let's put it that way. I become the treasurer. Here's what I realized becoming the treasurer of a motorcycle club. We're always in constant financial collapse. Every month, I have to sit and stare at a fucking spreadsheet and say to myself, I don't know if we are going to have a house next week. How the fuck are we going to? So I've got to find money. I've got to okay, I got to tap the bar. I've got to do this. I do all sorts of money's going every goddamn which way, because, lights have to be put on, mortgages and or rent has to be paid. The water needs to be fucking kept on.
That's
you name
not cheap.
Yeah. Insurance, all this shit
Oh boy, yeah.
has to be paid on time. And it has to be done. Otherwise, you fuck over the entire goddamn club. Also, you have to be a babysitter for these assholes that can't come up with their goddamn dues every goddamn week or every goddamn month or however your particular club does it. You've got to be like, hey man, you didn't pay your dues last whatever. Oh, dude, I'll catch you next week. That's what you said last week, dude. And then you got to get enforcers you got to get people involved. And then you turn into the bad guy. I'm not the bad guy. I'm not the bill collector. You know what I mean? I'm just the asshole that's in charge of making sure that the shit stays working. The lights come on. Nobody's sticking fucking sticky things on our door saying we have to leave by the end of whatever. You know what I mean? That's my job.
Yeah.
The dues help that not happening. So if you don't pay your dues, you effectively fuck over the entire goddamn club. It's my job to make sure to tell you that you're not paying your dues because I got to keep track of all this shit because I'm the goddamn treasurer. How's it going? And yes, this is why we can't afford to buy a club fucking school bus. We can all go drinking one night together in a bus because you assholes don't pay your shit. See what I'm saying?
We are going to work on that club pontoon boat though.
God damn it. We need a club pontoon boat. I know it sounds fucking, oh, bikers, why do you guys need a boat? Hey,
it's going to be a pirate ship, man.
We're going to make it a pirate ship and we're going to board people. It's going to be fun.
It will be fun.
Are bikers nothing more than road pirates? Come on.
Exactly.
I've seen TV.
Have you seen Mad Max?
So I was a treasurer for a while. And I was going through some personal shit. I didn't want to be treasurer anymore. And the guy that I took the position from wanted it back. And I felt like he had learned his lesson. So I said, I'll tell you what, I'll step down and then you step up. And I'm pretty sure nobody else is going to want that position because the treasurer is not a sexy job. You've learned this being a secretary. It's not a sexy job. Nobody wants to be the secretary. Nobody wants to be the treasurer. What does everybody want to be?
Oh, they want to be the enforcer.
Or the sergeant at arms.
Or the sergeant at arms, yeah.
Or president or vice president.
Yeah.
There's maybe road captain. That's kind of sexy. But I have never seen more people throw their name in a hat to be an enforcer or whatever than, treasurer. It's like, who wants to be a treasurer? It's going to be one guy. I'll do it. Anybody want to do it besides him? No? Oh, well, I guess we'll have a vote out of fucking just for funsies because nobody else wants the motherfucker.
Right. Yeah.
Hank, you've been secretary now for what? 5 years?
No.
6?
It's 6.5 years.
Have you ever been challenged for your position?
No, nobody wants it.
Nobody wants to be secretary. Present company included, by the way, just so you know. So, anyways, I said that to say this. I'm no longer the treasurer. I'm no longer nothing. You know, I'm not bar manager. I'm just a regular Joe Blow member. And my journey went the way it went. Well, it turns out the vice president of our club was also going through some personal things, and he had to step down. He couldn't be vice president anymore. So the president of our club at the time comes to me and says, hey, I think you will be a really good vice president, and I would like to name you as my VP at the end of the year. This was in, let's say, September, right? He wants to name me vice president in the end of December.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I'll think about it. I thought about it for months because I did not want to be an officer. I didn't want responsibility because I didn't join this shit to do shit. You know, I joined it to ride that thing and fucking have a good time. I don't want to have to talk to people that I don't want to talk to. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. So I say fine, because it's always come to me that I have to be the guy. Nobody else can do it. You're the guy. We need you to come in and do whatever it is you can do. Because apparently I have the right mindset to be whatever, right? So fast forward, I become vice president. I am vice president for all of 8 fucking months. By the way, vice presidents in most motorcycle clubs, your biggest thing is keeping members in line. What do I mean by that? Well, I mean, vice president's job is make sure the club is running smoothly and according to the vision that the club has, AKA the president's will. Because if your club is running efficiently, the president's only job is to make sure that the club is moving in the direction that the club wants to move in. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, if the club says our main mission is to have charity events and help the community, well, it's the president's job to make sure that the club is always doing that. If the club's main job is to be a dominant motorcycle club and take over the goddamn world, well, then it's the president's fucking job to make sure that that's what the club is doing. Right? Mm-hmm. So it's always the club's president is basically the leader of the club, and the club tells the president how to lead. This is what we need you to do. This is our mission. Make sure we stay on track. That's president's job. Vice president's job is to make sure that that is actually happening. A lot of people think that the vice president doesn't do shit. If you're doing it right, the vice president's working his ass off.
That's right.
Because the vice president is the guy that is telling the club members what the president needs them to do. Doesn't always work out like that. But that's what's supposed to fucking happen. Vice president should be the guy that talks to the members to get them on track when they're fucking up.
Yep.
My job as president, per se, is I am basically just a manager. If something's fucked up, I come to you and say, hey, fix this. That's it. That's all my job is. Hey, this ain't working right. You should probably do something different about that. I shouldn't have to tell you what to do. You should know how to do it. But at the same time, the vice president should also handle that in accordance, like, hey, man, I noticed you ain't doing this. Hey, man, what's your problem with this guy? We need to fix this problem. Because that's what you do. You're the vice president. You're president if the president can't be president. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We'll get into that. But when I was vice president, my main job was to make sure that shit ran smoothly via helping the members. For example, you know this, I know this. There was a ride. We're going to throw a ride. This particular ride was ran by 2 members. These 2 members were dropping the goddamn ball. They were fucking up. So I stepped in. I said, what do you need? What do you need help with? How can I help you do the thing you said you were going to do? And effectively, me and you ended up running a fucking ride that we didn't volunteer to do.
Yep.
That's vice president's job. I took all the heat off the president. The club did what had to be done. We had our ride. We did our thing. Everybody had a good time, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of it had to do with the fact that I stepped in, I brought you in, we got it going. I solved a problem because I'm the vice president. I'm the problem solver. Now, you fast forward. One thing the vice president should be and has to be is the club president's backup. So, if the president is, say, in a motorcycle accident, and let's say he's in a coma, and let's say it's pretty hard to run a motorcycle club from a coma, the vice president now becomes the acting president. He must now step up and run the club. And he doesn't have the benefit of having a vice president because he is the vice president. So he now has to do both jobs. You're now the vice president and president. You now have to shake all the right babies and kiss all the right hands, plus make sure the members know what the fuck they're doing. Because you're now both people. That was me. I did that. And I'm not bragging. I'm telling you that's what happens when you're the vice president and the president gets fucked up. Now, and I hope this never happens to another club member or another club, but it's going to, because it's the nature of the fucking business. If that club president dies, you are now in charge of doing everything to facilitate sending this member off into the sky chapter, as you will, as making sure that everything must now run smoothly because the shit never stops. Our former club president, our brother, got into an accident the day before our most popular ride that 100 plus fucking guys, or I'm sorry, 100 plus motorcycles were going to be on. Literally the day before. And we still had the ride. And it was still successful. And we still raised a bunch of money. And we still did all the shit we were supposed to do. And all of it happened is because every single fucking member realized that the show must always go on. And there's always got to be that one guy that's going to have to make sure that it happens. So if you think that being a club president is glamorous, well, it's not that glamorous. If you think being a VP is easy, it's not that easy. Because yeah, do I get to sit at the big boy chair and fucking, have people kiss my ass that, because I'm who I am? I guess. I mean, yeah, that's part of it. But at the same time, when shit hits the fan, all the eyes only look in one direction. You know what I mean? You're the only one that can actually give the answer that's actually going to be the way it works. You know what I mean?
I do.
Not only that, but you're now in charge. There was no vote. There was no passing of the torch. It was worst case scenario happened. Now fix it. That was me. That's how I became president.
We didn't even have rules in the bylaws to cover the contingency for what we would do if that happened. We had to figure all that out first.
Yeah. Now, I will brag a little bit. And this is for all the people out there that want to say that they're in a righteous motorcycle club or they want to start one or whatever. The number one thing I wanted to change about this club was taking power away from myself. I am the only president that I know of in any club that took power away from himself. It gave more power to the people beneath me. And I did that because being who I am, I did rise up through the ranks. I came, I'm not a founder of anything. I didn't get shit handed to me. I had to work for everything that I fucking had in the club world. And I watched other clubs and I commingled with other clubs, and I saw that every club, in fact, if you go back to episode five or six was Shaggy.
5 with Shaggy.
5 was Shaggy. Go back to episode 5. He said something, and this was, by the way, back in 2019. I wasn't shit. I was nothing. Or was I treasurer? I don't remember. Fuck, doesn't matter. I'm fucking whatever.
You were
Long
treasurer.
time, decade ago. Million years ago at this point, right? This is pre-pandemic. Where were you pre-pandemic? I was doing this fucking stupid ass podcast over there on this fucking stage with equipment that we didn't even know how to work. He said something that was one of the smartest things ever said on here, is that every club has the exact same fucking problem. I don't give a fuck if you're a mom and pop. I don't give a fuck if you're a 1%er. You have almost the exact same problems, because it's basically just a group of people trying to do something with a whole bunch of people that think they can do it better than the next guy. And that's kind of what it is, So when I decided to take power away from myself, I wanted to give power to the club, because I didn't want people to feel like their voices weren't heard, that they didn't have a say. Because none of us get into this shit to make money. So it's not a job. This is supposed to be for the love of it. This is all a passion project.
Yeah, we are amateurs.
Right. I can ride motorcycles on my own. I did it for years. I did it for decades. I don't need, I've always had like 3 friends. That's it. 3 people I called friends and I hung out with. I never had a whole group of motherfuckers that were calling me brother. And it feels weird to have it now today, because that's not typical to me. However, I say that to say this. I want the club, under my reign, if you will, or my leadership, to govern themselves. And all I want to do is help them be better. That's my only job, is to be the guy that makes the club better via however the club feels they need to be better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, the president title should be a burden. It shouldn't be a fucking luxury. That's just how I feel. I mean, look at Joe Biden, our current sitting president, right? Dr. Magoo, if you will. This asshole, he's, you know what I mean? How old is Joe Biden?
80.
Is he 80?
He might be 81. Yeah.
Comment below if you know how old Joe Biden is.
Nah.
But anyways,
fuck him.
Anyways, do you know another 80-year-old person you would want them to be in charge of anything?
No.
Me neither. In fact, most people that I know that are, let's say, mid 70s to 80, they are on the fucking, let's just say the cruise control has been set. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They aren't, the retirement age in this country is 65, right? Or 67 or whatever age limit you have to go. You know what I mean? Like, if you walked into, like, say, Amazon, and they brought out the CEO, and that motherfucker's 80 goddamn years old, I guarantee you're gonna be like, man, that guy's fucking really goddamn old. I don't know if he can run Amazon.
Yeah.
Yet the leader of the free world's 80 goddamn years old. Think about that. So I would almost say that, and I'll even point this out real quick. Let me think for a second. I am one of the youngest members of this club, and I'm 44, and I have gray hair. You know what I mean? So that's kind of unusual, you know? And I don't know if a guy who's in his 80s could run a motorcycle club because, you know, look at the shit you're going to have to deal with. You know what I mean? You got to have your answers. You got to figure your shit out. You can't be like, oh, well, I'll get back to you. No, you can't do that. You can't get back to people. I mean, maybe if it's some sort of situation where you're asked to, you know, well, what happened here? Well, you know what? I don't have all the information. I'll get back to you. No, if somebody says, hey, this is going on, what should I do? You need to have that answer because you're the guy. So, anyways, I guess that's really how I came up and where I'm at right now. Got anything else, Tank?
Yeah.
What do you think about this episode, Tank?
I don't know. What do you want me to say? You know,
I don't know. You've been quiet.
well, that was kind of the point, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, but I said a lot of shit.
Yeah, it's a lot of shit. I mean,
Yeah,
it's a lot of stuff that I can't address, you know?
Like what?
Oh, there's a lot of inside stuff, a lot of insider baseball information I know about a lot of the different things that you've referenced and, you know, it's
Alluded to.
alluded to. Yeah. So, you know, there's only
Well,
so much commentary I can provide.
All right. This is one of the perks of being a president. I can tickle on some of these subjects a little bit. Number one, and I also want to address, first of all, ain't nobody's listening at this point, but if you are, good on you. If you watch some of these other shows and they talk about a dominant motorcycle club, here's the thing. If you're in the motorcycle club community, I'm going to give you a little word of advice. Never, ever, ever say a particular club is the dominant in the state to anybody. Why? Because that is illegal. They can get in trouble with authorities if they are considered the dominant motorcycle club because that is illegal. Because the only way to be a dominant motorcycle club is to do things that are illegal to keep people in line. Therefore, let's say, well, this happens all the time. Hey, who runs Wisconsin? Oh my God, you see my head just fucking popped apart. Crazy. Who runs Wisconsin? I want to start a motorcycle club. Who do I talk to? And I say, well, if you have to ask me who runs Wisconsin or who is in charge, then you have no business starting a motorcycle club because you did not do your homework.
That's right.
So rethink that whole thing. Number two, if somebody asks, hey, are you guys a support club of a particular club? No, do not say, well, we're not a support club because we don't fuck with anybody. No. This is a bad idea. You say, well, we're not a support club because, well, we're friendly with everybody. Let's just leave it at that. There's way too much shit on the fucking internet with these fucking other goddamn fucking people talking about shit.
Yeah,
Also,
these protocol places.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Do not say if you wear a patch that is not AKA blessed, that you're going to run into problems with this particular club or that particular club. Do not say this. Why? Because that is illegal activity. This is America. Nobody gets to tell anybody what they can and cannot wear unless they are some sort of an authority. In order to be an authority, typically in this country, the government has to give it to you. i.e. the police or the school board or whoever, right? So let's say somebody has the idea that they're going to put a patch on their back and become a club. Say, hey, good luck with that. Why? It'd be harder than you think. Why? No reason. Never give them an answer. Never fucking tell them, well, because, you know, this club's going to kick your ass if they see you out. Don't say that shit. Don't act, don't give the fucking cops another goddamn reason to fuck with another goddamn club. Let these assholes figure their shit out on their own. And I've actually gotten into arguments with people online because I'm like, you know, you guys are sitting here talking about other clubs, about how they would be less than impressed if they ran into, you know, either another club that wasn't sanctioned or whatever. And you're basically telling the cops, yeah, they're going to do violence and commit crimes if this particular club is in their area. Well, why would you do that?
You know, just this past weekend, I'm at a party down here, and I'm talking to a guy who's been in his club for over 20 years. Yeah, we're talking back and forth about a lot of that different stuff, and he just kind of laughed and looked at me for a second. He said, he said, in all my years of clubs, I've never figured out who they are. You know, when they say this club can't do this, or they're not supposed to be down below this area, they're not supposed to do this. He's like, all my years, man, I've never figured out who they are.
Hey, I have had other clubs reach out to me from other states and ask if they can come to our events. And I always say, it's a free country. Do whatever you want. If you think you're going to have a problem, then don't come. If you think everything's going to be great, then we'd love to have you. But it's up to you. I can't make that decision for you. That's basically me saying, hey, do you, man. I'm not going to tell you what you can and can't do. You do whatever the fuck you want.
We fly our rags everywhere.
You know, my whole philosophy is, we're a club that doesn't beef with any other club because, well, we've got nothing to beef over. Yeah. We're just trying to do us. And we're not trying to stop anybody from being whatever the fuck they want to be. Whatever agenda Club X has, it doesn't concern us because our shit is our shit and everybody else can just do their own thing as far as we're concerned. Now, is every club like that? Nope. But it is what it is, man. I can't control what other clubs do. I have no say in what other clubs do. And I have no right to tell another club not to dislike another club.
That's they're over there and we're over here,
Yeah. The last I check, and I check every day, I only belong to one club.
Yeah. I only ever will belong to one club.
Yep, that is true. So, I would like to just put that out there. If you are listening to this podcast and your other podcasts talk about dominance and talk about, you got to do this, you got to do that. Sure. That's what they say. I'm telling you, do your own research and figure it the fuck out.
Yeah, we do.
I'm not going to tell you how to do shit because unless you're joining my club, I don't give a fuck what you do. Yeah, you want to go and put 10 patches on 10 fucking dudes that you met over the internet. Well, I guess that's you. Am I going to respect you? Probably not. But hey, man, I'm not going to tell you can't do it.
Yeah, it's a free country. Do what you want. Just
free country, man. You do whatever the fuck you want.
Just deal with the repercussions. That's all.
Oh yeah, yeah. If somebody gets mad and punches you in the face, well, you should have a response for that.
Yeah, fuck around, find out.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I tell guys, oh hey man, can I fly my colors in this state here? Yeah, why not? Well, I was just curious. Well, why not? Is there a protocol? Should you call ahead? Yeah, sure. Great. Do all that. Who do you call? There's not a hotline. There's not like a biker pass through this fucking area hotline. Like, oh, well, let me call. You know what I mean? Like,
They make an app.
You know
for
who's
that.
who. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know who's who. You know what's going on. If a certain area is hot, we all know it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, chances are fucking there's some YouTube channel fucking talking about it 6 times a fucking day.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, you know what areas you probably shouldn't fucking, you know, try to avoid, you know. I mean, I could say like right now, I mean, do you know how many people ask me about Chicago? About, you know, oh, what's going on in Chicago? What's going on in Chicago?
Oh, no.
If you're asking me, that means you don't know. That means you don't need to know.
Pretty simple.
Pretty goddamn simple. So
Yep.
whatever I know. Whatever you don't know, then I guess you don't need to know it.
Plain and simple, man.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. Well, we learned a lot here today, didn't we?
I like to think so.
I think so too.
Hopefully fucking dude can fucking do this shit this weekend so we have somebody else talking besides my raspy ass voice ass.
As far as I know, he's available for the day we're gonna do this on.
Sounds good.
And he's always a hoot. We've had him on before.
Oh yeah. Is a returning guest, one of our most popular videos.
Very true. Very true.
So it should be fun.
Cool. Well, you know, I got nothing at this point in time. I'm hungry.
Yep.
I haven't eaten dinner yet.
Me neither. I'm starving.
Yeah. So yeah, for the 4 people and Dirty's mom that have made it to this point in time, thank you very much for listening. Everybody keep on mind, most dangerous part in motorcycles is not to connect the seat to the handlebars. Peace.
Yep.
Welcome to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink cause I think I'm going all in. Get me a shrink who can catch me when I'm falling. Cover up my scars, flip the handlebars. Crashing in my car, wake up in a bar. I'll be a superstar, just on my avatar. This world is so bizarre, empty out the reservoir. Yeah, I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots, all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking